Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. It's Sunday, August 8th. The Government Accountability Office has released a major report on EIDL loans and grants. Lots of interesting findings I will briefly talk about here, especially things that I think you will find interesting, plus a quick update on the infrastructure bill, and I'm picking two $1,000 winners in this video. These are $1,000 grants to subscribers of our channel, and we're doing some changes to our $1,000 grant giveaways. If you could use an extra $1,000, I'll talk about that at the end. I'll keep this video short. By the way, let's try again to get this video over 2,000 likes. Just give it a thumbs up if you appreciate the information in this video. And of course, if you're new to our channel, consider hitting subscribe and turning on alerts. You know, I try to spend a few hours every single day to research information, and our team does additional research as well. So your support, even a thumbs up and hitting subscribe, goes a long way in supporting that effort. You know, the full Government Accountability Report, which came out last week, is 100 pages long. I went through it all. I'm going to hit the highlights. Many of you will find this validates a lot of what we've talked about so often on this channel and a lot of the comments you've left. Okay, so here's what the GAO found. They released this report on July 30th. It's the Government Accountability Office. They've done a few reports over the last year and a half on the SBA programs, and generally the SBA responds to the recommendations. The question is always, how quickly can the SBA respond and implement some of these changes? You know, at a high level, I think the SBA knows they need to do better. A lot of the times it's just a matter of making some process or technical improvements. We do know that over the last month, they have made some major process improvements, going from 2,000 EIDL loan applications reviewed per day to nearly 40,000 reviewed per day. So that's a massive increase. Here are some of the findings. Of all EIDL loan applicants, the majority are small businesses, 10 or fewer employees. So 81% have 10 or fewer employees. This is not surprising. We've seen this data before. Most of these are also new businesses. So 63% are less than 5 years old. So the main takeaway, and I've showed this data before, is it's self-employed individuals, entrepreneurs, independent contractors who've applied for these loans. Maybe they have new businesses and they really could use the support because they're new businesses. Okay, but here's the important stuff. They did 5 discussion groups with applicants to learn more. Again, they could just read the comments on this channel and that would give them enough data. Highlighted here in yellow, SBA did not provide important information to potential applicants, such as limits on loan amounts and definition of certain program terms. A lack of important program information and application status put pressure on SBA resources and negatively affected applicants' experience. So we know many of you have had frustrating experiences. For some of you, that's putting it lightly. Another piece here is that 5.3 million applications were duplicates. The recommendation here is what we've said many times: developing and implementing a comprehensive communication strategy that includes these details could improve the quality, clarity, and timeliness of information. You know, I've said for a couple months now, it would be very easy to basically give an estimated time of review. All the loan applications have an assigned number and a created date on the back end. Based on that, the SBA could say, okay, here's the order of operations. If you've submitted all your information, we expect a loan officer to review your application in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks, assuming that everything goes in the order it was received. Some difficulty here may be if the IRS is giving back tax transcripts in a random order. So it could be the IRS is saying, okay, well, we didn't find Joe's tax transcript. He applied back in March, but we have Julie's here. She applied in June. So that could lead to a strange order of operations. I don't know enough about how the IRS has given tax transcripts to the SBA. But in any event, I could think of several ways right now the SBA could quickly put on the SBA portal something to give you an estimated time of review or some peace of mind. Another report that came out earlier this year, in the January report, that SBA had approved 3,000 loans totaling $156 million to businesses that SBA policies state were ineligible for the EIDL program. So $156 million went out to businesses that shouldn't have gotten it, such as real estate developers or multi-level marketers. To the SBA's credit, they've implemented a lot of these changes, but not to let them off the hook that easily. They should have done these communication improvements much, much earlier. It was very apparent from day one, and they should have understood what they can do on the technical side of things. Let me pull out a couple things on the full report here. I thought this timeline was very interesting, so I want to show this. For many of you watching for the last year and a half, this kind of sums up your experience. Here we go. March 6, 2020, economic injury caused by COVID-19 made eligible EIDL loans through legislation, and millions of loans were approved over a few months, April, May, June. Along with the EIDL grants, on July 11th here, funding for the EIDL advances was depleted. That was $20 billion set aside. Fast forward to this year, February 1st, SBA begins to implement targeted EIDL advances. And on April 6th, SBA begins to accept requests for loan increases. And on April 22nd, SBA begins to accept applications for supplemental targeted EIDL advances. So I'll put this on our blog and app as well. If you're curious about the summary timeline, I think the GAO did a great job here, mapping out what all of you have been through. Another thing they did a great job at was mapping out the application approval. You know, this is similar to the flowchart I did a few weeks ago. Perhaps it inspired the GAO report. I'll also put this up on the app. But basically, there are automated systems that flag for potential fraud and eligibility, do a credit check, and any other flags that a loan officer reviews, mitigates system flags. So basically, any flags the loan officer will have to review and either approve or deny. And we get a report on how many people are behind the scenes here. We can see how the SBA staff has ramped up from less than 2,000 to nearly 6,000 now, and with a couple thousand contractors on top of that. And most of these are the loan officers and customer support representatives. Finally, a map of all EIDL loans across the country per 1,000 small businesses by county. Again, the data stops in February, so highest in the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and in California, as well as in the Northeast, especially New York and New Jersey, and parts of Texas as well. Okay, I'm going to pick $2,000 grant winners in 30 seconds. But first, on the infrastructure bill, it's likely going to pass the Senate, but then Speaker Pelosi may hold it up in the House of Representatives because she wants the $3.5 trillion anti-poverty and climate change bill to pass the Senate as well, and then she'll bring both bills at the same time, the $1 trillion infrastructure and the $3.5 trillion Anti-Poverty and Climate Change Act. But here's the headline from today in the Wall Street Journal. Infrastructure bill's boost to the economy is likely to be limited. It's really only $500 billion in additional spending, and economists say the short-term lift will be minimal. The short of this is that a lot of the spending, unlike the stimulus checks, which were distributed in months, will be distributed over the next 5 to 10 years. So it will take a bit of time to get out this money. It'll help the overall GDP, but it's not like the trillions in COVID relief, which went out within weeks of being signed into law. And a quick change up, you know, in a few weeks, it will be exactly 1 year since we started donating our YouTube revenue to give out around $1,000 grants to dozens and dozens of businesses over the past 11 months. Starting this coming week, if you want to have a guaranteed entry every single week, go download our app, HelloSkip, in the App Store and Google Play. Set up your funding tracker. It's a new service where you can track any EIDL, PPP, or other funding you've received and see new funding opportunities here. If you are a Skip Plus member and have this funding tracker set up, you will be entered every single week into our $1,000 grants. All these details are on the app and in the description as well. We're picking winners every single week. Shout out to Nicole, one of the winners from last week, who I've happened to talk to a few times on the phone. Really fantastic to hear some of your stories. Okay, from the first winner here, let's see who the first winner is. Dog Pound, your comment, the idiots in Washington strike again. You were referring to our Monday video where we said the new infrastructure bill is taking away nearly $20 billion from the SBA's pot of money for targeted EIDL grants. Dog Pound, if you're watching, get in touch with us. You've won $1,000. Of course, we're going to make sure you're a subscriber and using our app. Okay, let's pick our second winner from Thursday's video where we talked about the new EIDL rules. Who is the second winner here? Cynthia Escobar. Congrats to you. Your comment, have they changed the qualifications on who can apply? Pending asylum case was denied last year, wondering if I can apply now. To be honest, I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'll look into it. Also, get in touch with us because you've won $1,000. Congrats to Cynthia and Dog Pound. And don't forget, if you want to be eligible for $1,000 grants every single week, go download our app, set up the funding tracker, and start a free Skip Plus trial. That's it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so we can get to 2,000 likes. And most importantly, hope you're having a great weekend. Stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.